This man wanted to relieve himself over the ocean, but just as he undid his pants, the sail behind him suddenly whipped around and slammed hard into his back. He staggered and nearly fell into the scalding seawater. The sailboat was racing at full speed. One moment of distraction could mean slipping and losing his grip, and once he hit the water, it would be certain death. Mike struggled to steady his breathing and tried to turn sideways to find something to hold on to. His body swayed violently several times before he finally managed to step back onto the deck just before letting go. By now, he was scared out of his wits. He took several deep breaths and slowly crawled back under the railing. Though he'd narrowly escaped disaster, he suddenly felt his stomach churning again. This time he learned his lesson. He absolutely wouldn't risk relieving himself anywhere on deck. So he immediately rushed into the cabin, heading for the tiny bathroom. But the moment he stepped inside, the steel door behind him slammed shut with a bang. Mike initially didn't think much of it, assuming it was just the sea breeze, but when he looked around carefully, he realized the windows weren't even open. He shrugged it off, not wanting to dwell on it, and pushed open the small window to enjoy the sea air. But when he tried to leave, he discovered the bathroom door wouldn't budge, not even a crack. Panic set in as he frantically searched the sink area for tools to pry the lock, only to spot a dried bloodstained handprint right in the center of the countertop. At that moment, it hit him. The boat's owner was very likely already dead. Mike rummaged through the bathroom and found a pair of scissors trying to pick the lock, but it was no use. Just then, a piercing alarm sounded from outside. He peered out the window and saw a cargo ship heading straight for them. If it didn't change course, the small boat would be smashed to pieces. He waved his clothes frantically for help, but the other vessel seemed completely oblivious. Mike tried to stick his head out the window, but the opening was too small to squeeze through. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration. He reached out and grabbed a rope, quickly tied a knot, and threw it into the sea, hoping to tangle the propeller and force a course change. The rope kept extending, and his plan actually worked, but the speed was too fast. The rope wrapped tightly around his neck. In the nick of time, he grabbed a hook and jammed it against the rope, using all his strength to break free from the stranglehold. But before he could catch his breath, the cargo ship was bearing down on them. The next second, the small boat was violently struck, and massive amounts of seawater came rushing into the cabin. After this series of harrowing ordeals, Mike was completely exhausted. He wanted water, but realized there was no fresh water source on the boat. Losing his rational thinking, he cupped some seawater and tasted it. The flavor was absolutely awful, and he immediately spat it out. With seawater rising to drown him, Mike frantically used a cup to bail water, struggling desperately. But his movements were too slow, and this yacht he'd stumbled upon seemed to be under some kind of control, heading straight into the storm's center. Soon, torrential rain began pouring down, with rainwater rapidly flooding into the cabin. By the next morning, seawater had reached his shoulders, and after soaking all night, Mike's entire body was numb. He prepared to use his last bit of strength to kick down the cabin door, but it had no effect whatsoever. Mike was completely hopeless. He dove underwater, wanting to end his own life. Just then, he suddenly noticed something odd about the door handle. He gave it a gentle twist, and to his surprise, the door opened easily. Escaping this dire situation, Mike felt an indescribable joy surge through his heart, though he knew he couldn't let his guard down yet. Looking around, he saw the yacht was gradually being swallowed by the sea. While the scenery on deck was still beautiful, the